Good evening and welcome to Arizona Illustrated for Wednesday, the 28th of November, 2012. I'm Tony Paniagua. It has been 2 years since Arizona voters approved the use of medical marijuana. And after months of uncertainty about the implementation of the law, a new dispensary is about to open in Southern Arizona. The first cannabis distribution is set to take place in just a few days, and pre-registration for patients is scheduled for this Saturday. Andrea Kelly has that interview.
Joining us in the studio now is Dr. Stephen Schochat, who is the Director of Operations for what will be Southern Arizona's first medical marijuana dispensary. Thanks for joining us today.
You're quite welcome.
So the process has been a long process. As we all know, voters approved the medical marijuana law 2 years ago. Then there was a lawsuit and a lengthy decision about how to authorize or approve which dispensaries would open. You've gone through that process. You won a random drawing to be the location, to be the dispensary that could open in your location near Broadway and Kolb. You've gone through city zoning and you're ready to open.
That's correct. In fact, last Tuesday, we received the second in the state's approval to operate from the Arizona Department of Health Services, although it does look like we may very well be the very first in the state to open our doors. That'll be this Saturday.
And what's the process for how you deal with your customers as you're setting up this new business?
Well, at this point in time, we have a huge policy and procedure manual. This is part of the obligation that we had in terms of passing the approval to operate for the state of Arizona Department of Health Services. We are a very medical model. If you walk into our place, it will look very much like a medical doctor's office or a pharmacy. We are very heavily invested in security and privacy for our clients. So it's an intimate sort of a setting. I expect that the people who will come in and be our patients ultimately will feel very, very comfortable, very safe, very secure there. We have, at this point in time, been collecting a supply from very generous donors who are activists in the state in the medical marijuana cause, if you will. And those donations will be turned into stock and for our dispensary that we can put on our shelves, and we'll be showing samples of the strains that we have. And our patients will be informed about those strains, how they can help them, what remedies they may be effective for in their condition, and at that point they make their choice, and it's very much like a medical doctor pharmacy type of situation.
Now, you're a doctor, a chiropractor. Why are you involved in this?
Yes, I am. I've been involved in alternative healthcare just about my entire adult life, and 32 years in practice in chiropractic in Northwest Tucson. I've dealt with people in chronic pain and other kinds of serious health conditions for the entire 32 years. I've developed an extraordinary empathy with folks like that, and this opportunity came upon me because of my experience in operating what was probably the largest wellness center in Tucson for 12 or 13 years. It's a natural progression, I believe, from chiropractic to natural health in terms of developing this brand new field in the state of Arizona, a brand new opportunity for people to experience relief from the pain, from the spasms that they've had, from the suffering that they've had, from the loss of appetite, the nausea related to cancer and other diseases. The MS patients that I've worked with in my office now literally will have access to a medication that is purely safe and effective for them. It's an amazing opportunity, and I couldn't pass it up.
One of the provisions in state law says that anybody who lives farther than 25 miles away from a dispensary can grow their own medical marijuana as long as they've been approved by a doctor in the state to do so. Yes. Do you assume that most of your patients at this dispensary will be within that 25-mile radius? Surely there will be others opening at some point, other dispensaries. Yeah,
certainly. If you draw the circle maps of 25 miles around each of the dispensary locations in Tucson, what you'll find is almost the entire central Tucson area where we're located, between the mountains and beyond, will actually be covered by those 25 miles. So we totally expect all of our patients and clients to be within those 25-mile limits.
Okay. And have you heard any concerns from nearby businesses? You're going to be in a strip mall situation, correct?
Right. No, we've had an amazing response from all of our neighbors. We have a strip mall. There's approximately 8 different businesses in the strip mall. They've all been incredibly supportive of what we're doing. They believe that it's going to bring some additional business to themselves as well, as any new business that thrives in a strip mall will have the opportunity to bring a whole lot of new people and new businesses, and they're looking forward to it as much as we are.
We've got just about 10 seconds left, but I also want to ask you about opposition from the public. Have you had any? Have you heard of anything?
Absolutely none.
Thank you for joining us again, Dr. Stephen Schochat.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Maria Hinojosa is a familiar name to millions of Americans who listen to National Public Radio, watch PBS, or tune into other media outlets where the journalist has contributed reports throughout her career. Now she is working on her own company, the Futura Media Group, where she plans to focus on different stories that are not frequently addressed by mainstream media operations. Tonight, we bring you an interview we conducted with her during a recent visit to Tucson. She talks about her plans and a new documentary that reflects the growing demographic changes in the United States. Maria Hinojosa, thank you very much for joining us.
It's great to be here, Tony.
So you've been traveling the country talking about the documentary America by the Numbers with Maria Hinojosa, Clarkston, Georgia. You visited a small town in Georgia that has changed drastically in the past few years. What do you want to say about this?
Well, I like to say that Clarkston, Georgia is like the future of the United States on steroids. It is massive diversity in a small, concentrated place that happened in a span of about 20 years. But essentially what happened in Clarkston, Georgia is happening across the country. We know this. The numbers, that's why the documentary and the series, really, it's a pilot for a series that we're trying to get off the ground for PBS. It's by the numbers because we want to look at stories that have a number that basically is irrefutable. And what we know that's irrefutable right now in our country, in Georgia as well as in Arizona, is that diversity, change, demographic change is happening on hyper speed, and we're all living it. So it's just kind of finding a hard number, but then going behind the hard number to tell the very human stories about who we are and how we make it through this change.
And speaking of those numbers, we talk about in the documentary about the fact that at one point, 90% or so was Anglo-Saxon, white, WASP, I guess is the terminology that's often been used. And now it's no longer the case. There are people from multiple countries living in that community.
Yeah, this is what happened. It was a place that, again, was 90% white, American-born, and in the span of about 20 years, that has changed entirely. And now whites living in Clarkston, Georgia are a minority. And you know what? I understand, Tony, that when you hear something like that, you know, white America being a minority, those can be kind of terms or moments that people say, wait a second, I'm not prepared for that. We want to address that. And so in the documentary, in the first 3 minutes, in an animation sequence, we ask Guy Garcia, who's a trend tracker and a former journalist, we say, so should white America be afraid of becoming a minority? And his answer is so beautiful because he says, they should only be afraid if we continue to define minority the way it's become to be defined in our country. Powerless, disenfranchised, isolated, forgotten. But we, this new America, can change the definition of what a minority is. And in the future, minority, if it's white, can also mean equal. It can mean empowered. It doesn't have to have that pejorative experience that we have had with minorities up until now. That is up to us, all Americans, everyone who lives in this country. It's up to us to make that happen.
And the documentary mentions a person from Somalia who works with a Republican white person in the town of Clarkston. They get along, they're really good friends. And so this can also illustrate that it doesn't have to be a divided community.
This is what was so beautiful is that, I mean, imagine this, because people are going to be like, that sounds impossible. No, it's true. Amina is a massacre survivor from Somalia who came to this country in the last 3-4 years and was sent as a refugee to Clarkston, Georgia. She loves Barack Obama. She's a Democrat in her heart, and she's an activist. She becomes best friends with Diane, who they meet at their church, in a big box Christian church, and they become sisters. Diane is white. She's a Tea Party supporting Republican who decides she wants to run for city council. And Amina says, "You're my best friend. I'm going to help you win. I'm going to become your campaign manager." So behind the scenes, someone who you would think is powerless, a Somali refugee, is inserting herself in the democratic process, becoming the campaign manager for her best friend, who's a Tea Party supporting Republican. And she gets her elected. And they're best friends, even though politically they're from very different places, and can continue to be that way in friendship. I think it really is a wonderful story about the future, or about the possibilities for our future.
And on the other hand, the documentary also points out that the majority, which are non-white, are not in the majority when it comes to the council.
Right.
They're not even on the council, at least so far. That also illustrates the fact that people need to become engaged in the process for their success in the future, does it not?
You know, one of the things, Tony, that has kind of been like my mantra in the last couple of weeks has just been this new America has got to reinvigorate the American democracy. And I think that that is something positive. So the possibility that these people could not, they're going to become citizens, they're going to register to vote, and then they're going to make the leap to wanting to run for office. That makes us better as a country. That makes us more representative. Democracy doesn't mean just for some people. It means democracy for everyone. So I think that what we need to do is we need to inspire the next generation, or even our generation, to say, jump in. Jump in. Look at how many people risked so much, from the founding fathers of this country to people through the civil rights era. So many people have sacrificed so much. We need new blood to jump in and become part of the democracy in our country. We
were speaking just ahead of this interview about the fact that the country is mixing. You were born in Mexico, grew up in the United States. You married a person who was born in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
So, and then your kids were born in this country. This is a perfect example of what is happening all across the nation, is it not?
And you know what? We all have to be prepared with change, right? I mean, I was a Mexican immigrant growing up on the south side of Chicago. I symbolized change. I was the first Latina hired in the headquarters of National Public Radio in 1985. I signified change. But my kids are Dominican Mexican. My husband's from the Dominican Republic. I'm Mexican. They're New Yorkers. We call them Dominimex New Yorkers. But who are they as Latinos? Who are they as citizens? They're going to be different than I am. And I have to be prepared for that change that we're going to see. What we want to do is we want to encourage them to feel like this is their country, that they have a voice, that they have a right to express their opinions, and that they should be involved in every aspect of the democracy, whether it's taking part in a street protest, calling or writing letters to Congress, or going to vote, which is what they do every time I go to vote. They come with me.
And you mentioned that the documentary in Clarkston, Georgia is one of a series. Talk to us, if you will, a little bit about the Futura Media Group. What do you want to do with Futura Media Group?
So I created 2.5 years ago a nonprofit media company based in Harlem in New York City, dedicated essentially to looking at the complexity of diversity in our country and to telling untold stories, which is essentially the two things that I've dedicated my career for the last 25 years. So we are hoping that we go to series with this for PBS. It is the first time that PBS airs a national news program that is anchored and executive produced by a Latina. That's important. And that's what I've wanted to do, is to insert myself and my perspective, which I think is a perspective of many Americans, into the media. And so we're hoping in the next couple of weeks that we're going to have some good news, and we hope to be returning with a limited series for 2013.
You hope that the voice of many people gets out there, because they do have lots of voices.
Oh,
they have lots of stories.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so the Futura Media Group, we're producing America by the Numbers with Maria Hinojosa, and we produce my NPR program called Latino USA that has been on the air almost for 20 years now. And we work with young people, media training, and we do a lot of events, getting out into the community. But I love the fact that we're not in some shiny high-rise in Midtown. We're on 125th Street in the heart of Harlem, and it's a media company run by a Latina, in an African American community. It's about building these bridges, about building coalitions. That's what the Futuro is all about.
And then tell us, if you will, a little bit about your experiences coming to Tucson. You've been here for stories, obviously. What do you think about coming back, being in town again?
You know, it's very emotional for me. I have to be honest with you. Just driving in from the airport and looking at the mountains and looking at the saguaros. And I mean, I have to be very honest with you. Most of the times that I've been to this area, it's been reporting on really sad stories. Tucson activists, when I was a correspondent for CNN, were the first ones who showed me some pictures that I will never forget. And it was human rights activists who got the photographs from the morgue of people who died in the desert crossing. To me, that was a life-changing moment for me. Being on the border, being with the Border Patrol, watching as they're trying to catch people who are crossing, being with the people who are thirsty in the desert, seeing them with our own eyes, being down in Bisbee, where there was a lot of fear about, you know, this interaction between citizens and the Border Patrol or law enforcement. So it's beautiful. I think that Tucson is incredibly inspiring. I know that the heart of the people of Tucson is a heart that cares. But for me personally, it's a lot of emotions. And so I'm just kind of allowing myself to be there. And at the same time, it's so physically beautiful here, so stunning, that I want to also stay in touch with that. Because, you know, I live in New York City and we don't have mountains like these. So I'm trying to take it all in. It's
like any other place. You got the beauty, the dark, and the light. It's just like any other place, is it not?
That's true, except that you don't have the subways like New York City.
As you travel the country, do you think people get it? You know, the fact that there is this border and so many different stories and so many struggles are occurring and people are dying in the desert, or are they living their own realities with a different scope?
You know, I think both things are happening. I think that if more Americans were encouraged to speak with people with whom they may think they share nothing, and to kind of get out of their comfort zone, they would see what's happening around them. There are many stories of sadness. There are families that are divided. There's a lot of fear. But I also think that the American people are a people who want justice for everyone. And so the more we tell these stories, the more everyone can begin to identify with what's really happening in our country, because by the numbers, this demographic change is happening. Like someone in the documentary says, I don't think it really matters much whether Americans can deal with this or not. It's happening. So let's move beyond our fear. Let's acknowledge it. Let's talk to each other. Let's have uncomfortable conversations in the spirit of moving forward in creating a stronger society and a stronger democracy.
And on a personal note, you're really excited because you're going back to your hometown of Chicago.
Yes.
You're going to be teaching over there, right?
You know, a beautiful thing happened. I was raised on the south side of Chicago. DePaul University, the largest Catholic university in the United States, asked me to join as the Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz visiting chair. So for 6 years, I'll be flying in and out of Chicago, and I'll be teaching classes on journalism and leadership, Latinas in mental health, Latino USA, and I'll be teaching on a weekly basis. I think that it's a little bit more that I can do to empower the next generation to do what I've wanted to do my whole life, which is to own my voice and own my own story. I want young people to do that as well.
And we'll finish on that note. What would you like to say to aspiring journalists right now when we hear so much about the fact that the industry, quote, is dying, that it's not going to exist the way it has existed for the past few decades?
I tell them to be fearless. I think that sometimes, you know, a young person will know that they want to be a journalist, and so just be fearless. So if it doesn't work the way it has worked in the past, come up with a different scenario. The Futuro Media Group didn't exist 2.5 years ago. I created it. It's scary, but here we are, and we move forward. And I don't want them to become discouraged. The most important thing we need right now are people who are engaged, whether it's, you know, in any kind of democracy work or it's in journalism. We want them to be engaged. We want them to feel powerful. And young people need to know, look, everybody wants to know what they think, how they react, what they buy. They need to own that power in the field of journalism and own their own power to tell these stories. I hope they will.
Great. Well, Maria Hinojosa, thank you very much for coming in, paying a visit at Arizona Public Media. We wish you the best of luck with everything. You are a very busy person.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
This weekend, a local chorus is performing its holiday shows in Tucson, but members say the organization is about much more than musical entertainment. The ReMens Chorus says it is also dedicated to promoting human rights, diversity, and a world free of AIDS. Caitlin Harrington has an interview.
In studio with me now from the ReMens Chorus is Mark Schaye and Shawn Cullen. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Mark, I'll start with you. Tell me a little of the history about the ReMens Chorus, when it began and why.
ReMens Chorus started as Reveille Gay Men's Chorus in 1995 by a group of men who just wanted a gay men's chorus in Tucson, which other cities have. And in 2007, they made a name change to make it more inclusive and changed it to Reveille Men's Chorus, just to give it a more inclusive sense, and also changed the mission statement to include promotion of human rights, diversity, and a world free of AIDS. So that started linking us up with other organizations as well.
Shawn, starting December 1st, you're going to be putting on your big holiday event or holiday concert. Can you tell our audience a little of information about that?
Sure. This year's holiday performance is called Our Favorite Things. It's on December 1st and 2nd, which is technically December, so we can be in the holiday spirit this year. We're doing an homage to our favorite things, which may be a little bit different from everyone else's favorite things. We have some overlap of those things. But we're going to be doing some holiday favorites. We're going to be doing some songs with humor, with heart. We usually put a little different spin on our things and give an audience a really nice roller coaster of a ride for a performance.
Mark, going with this Our Favorite Things concert, can you tell our audience where they can purchase tickets and the prices for those?
Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the door, and there's a student rate of $15. And they can get them on our website, which I understand they can they'll find on your website, and also by calling the phone number. And also at Antigone Books. They're available there or from any Reveille member.
And can you tell me a little about some of the upcoming concerts in addition to Our Favorite Things that will be going on in the next few months?
Well, we're singing with the Tucson Symphony. I'm going to let Shawn tell you a little more about.
Sure. We're really excited to be linked up with the Tucson Symphony Orchestra this year. We're going to be performing February 23rd and 24th for their concert series called Broadway Rocks. They're going to be flying in some musical theater stars from New York City, and we get to provide backup vocals for them this year. Later on in the season, we're also doing our closing performance, which is May 5th and 6th this year at the Temple of Music and Art, which is going to be Viva la Diva, which is going to be songs from all of the divas, past and present, from Judy Garland all the way to Madonna and Adele this year.
And Mark, when we were talking earlier, we were talking about what skills you need to have to be a part of the chorus. And I asked you if you need to be a professional singer.
You don't need to be a professional singer at all. If you enjoy singing, you'll enjoy Reveille. And there's also a great social aspect of it, too, of just people getting together in a different setting and making friends in a different way. It's been really fun.
If you can sing in the shower, you can sing with Reveille.
And last year, you first worked with another organization here in town. Can you tell us about the organization you worked with last year, as well as the organization that you'll be contributing to this year?
Right. We're contributing 10% of our ticket proceeds this time to Wingspan's Eon Youth programs. Our last concert, we contributed to Southern Arizona AIDS Foundation. And we've also done a lot of outreach with many community organizations. We've sung at AIDS Walk every year for the past several years. Tucson Interfaith HIV/AIDS Network, we've sung at their musical potpourri for the past at least 5 years. And Wingspan, we've sung at their dinner. Lots of community things. We sang at the Fox Theater for Tucson's birthday, and we've sung at Tucson Meet Yourself. So we do all kinds of outreach in addition to contributing 10% of the proceeds from our concerts.
You had mentioned, along with that you wanted to continue working with organizations in Tucson for your concerts and kind of co-sponsoring each other. Why do you think it's important to work with more organizations in Tucson?
I think it helps build community, And whenever you help another organization like that, you're helping your own as well. It's really helped Reveille to go beyond just being an arts organization into having a social justice and public health message as well.
Shawn, you have the few concerts coming up in the next few months. Who do you think would make a good audience member for these shows?
Anybody. Kids all the way up until, 103, I guess. We have songs that are going to be from everyone's past, the traditional stuff. We're going to have stuff that's going to be new. All of it's going to get you in the holiday spirit. So we want to see you there, too.
Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In tonight's video postcard from photographer and editor Cooper James, we take you closer to some of our cacti species at Hinojosa Park.
We're at Hinojosa Park, and today's cart is prickly plants. This is a saguaro boot, and it is formed by a Gila woodpecker. The plant forms scar tissue around where the woodpecker made the hole, and it becomes very hard. This is a seed pod from a plant called a devil's claw, and very often when the native people are making baskets, they will use the devil's claw to make the design in the dark colors.
You can get more news and information on our website, azpm.org. To comment on any story you saw tonight, click on it online and go to the bottom. We can also be reached via Facebook and Twitter. Coming up tomorrow night, World AIDS Day is coming up, battling diabetes, and a new documentary about a popular social destination. I'm Tony Paniagua. Have a great night.